Hey yo viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back to So You're Being Hunted. This is episode 412. Now, this is going to be the start of a big recording session, hopefully consisting of more than just Sir, because it's kind of mid to late August as of when I record this, and I'm hoping to get a load of stuff done because over the last few days, last few videos and all that, I've basically had a huge queue of stuff because I went back up north to visit family. And of course, because I had, no opportunity to record things whilst I was doing that, naturally my queue of content has sort of run quite low. So I need to record some fresh videos and get new things recorded. And we're starting off with Sir, since that's the kind of most important one at the moment, the one that needs doing imminently. So episode 412, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm back on the main menu screen. We were previously doing the terrain experiments, but we're going to change things up a bit. We're going to continue with, terrain experimentation, but we're just going to kind of change things around a little bit. I'm actually going to ditch the map that I was using because people have clarified for me what the actual deal is in terms of what I need to do. So, we'll start as the aristocrat, as always. Now, I made a mistake. So, you don't want rural. You don't want any sort of rural setting, apparently, in these custom biomes. Because apparently, since that's like the base biome that the game uses, that typically won't result in any weird terrain features or anything like that. So, as usual, what we do need to do, of course, is make the the region size large, that is. Now, colour theme, the one that was suggested to me was to go with castle. Infrastructure, we're going to set to industrial, because I think that's what people said. Now, terrain type and height scale, so I believe mountains or valleys are what we need. Height scale needs to be dramatic, I do think, from what people were saying. So we're going to set all the islands to this, and I think, from what I recall, the other recommendation that was made to me was basically to max out everything, as far as I'm aware, assuming I've got that right, at least in terms of structures, things like that. Just to basically try and see if we can overload the map generator with all kinds of stuff. So, we'll see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to be our first island. I'm going to have to do this for each and every one of them, though. But that's not too much of a problem. So, hope you guys out there are all doing well, and that you're looking forward to seeing me mess around with this. Let's see if this works better. But yes, so, like I say, I just, came back up. Or rather came back down south after visiting up north to see family. Had a nice relaxing summer break and all that. Weather at the moment here in the UK is a little bit grey, which, you know what, is not unusual for this country, is it? Let's be brutally honest. And, we in the UK, we've probably had our friggin' summertime by now. I'm not going to cut this out, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm mid-flow of conversation and all that. So you can see exactly what I'm doing. But yes, weather at the moment here in the UK is kind of grey. It's not quite as warm as it was. Temperatures have actually dropped a little bit. Yes, this is the next one we needed. Go here. Castle, mountains, dramatic, large, blah blah blah. And so, as is often the case with the UK, we have just a couple of weeks of nice warm weather, and then it all blows over, and it all goes cool again. Now, I'm a bit tired this morning as well, because something kind of strange actually just happened this morning. And when I say this morning, I mean really early in the morning. We're not kidding here. This happened basically about half an hour after midnight, as of the day when I record this. And basically I was asleep in bed, minding my own business, snoozing away, catching 40 winks and all that, when suddenly fucking smoke alarm in my apartment started bleeping. Not bleeping as in, oh, danger, danger. Just sort of bleeping once every sort of 40 seconds or so. Now, hold on, I'll just jump cut whilst I load up the map. So as I was saying, my alarm clock, not my alarm clock, my smoke alarm in my apartment just suddenly started fucking beeping intermittently, sort of once every 40 seconds or so, just randomly. And that was half an hour after midnight. Now, of course, at first I was like, what the fuck was that bleeping? But then I realised quickly what it was. And the thing is, if you have any experience with smoke alarms, if a smoke alarm like that is basically bleeping every sort of 40 seconds or so, well, I say 40 seconds, every sort of 30 to 60 seconds or so, rather, is what I should say. That typically means that there's maybe something that you need to be aware of. Perhaps, for example, the sort of backup battery in the alarm is running out of power, and so the alarm is giving you a notification to say, oh, you need to change the battery in this thing. Because that's the thing, smoke alarms, I don't know, about smoke alarms in other countries, but here in the UK, smoke alarms typically will have a battery in them, but they'll also be connected to like a residual charge. They might also be connected into the mains as well. And the one I've got basically has like a residual charge, and I was looking online, at friggin' 1:45 in the morning, trying to figure out how to get the damn thing to shut up. I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to do it, because the problem is, this smoke alarm in my apartment, in order to open it up, in order to disconnect the power or anything like that, you need a special like screwdriver-like tool in order to basically, prise it open. Problem is, because I'm in rented accommodation, I don't have that friggin' tool on me. I was looking through my apartment to see if maybe there was one lying around, but there wasn't. So the only kind of alternative I had there was maybe just pick up a friggin' knife from my kitchen drawer and see if I could prise it open with that, but of course I don't want to do that, because the problem is, I'm in rented accommodation, I don't want to damage it, because the thing is, as is often the case with renting apartments, when you rent an apartment, you have to pay a big deposit when you move in. It's like a security deposit type thing, and of course, when you eventually move out, usually your landlord will return that deposit to you, but if you've damaged anything in the apartment, they might deduct money from it. And that's the last thing I want to do. The last thing I want to do is end up freaking damaging something in the apartment, and when I eventually come to move out of this place, ending up with a fucking, load of my original bloody deposit being deducted. Because that's the last thing I want. So basically, what I had to do was I just had to leave the smoke alarm bleeping every so often. God, there's fucking robots everywhere by the sound of it. But, at first I thought there is no fucking way I am going to be able to sleep with that fucking thing constantly going in the background. This is going to be so annoying. But somehow I managed it. So basically, like I say, midnight was when it started bleeping. I was forced to get up to try and solve what the fuck was going on with it. Couldn't figure it out. Friggin' 1:15 in the morning. I ended up having to pretty much leave a voicemail with the landlord, basically saying, look, I can't figure this thing out, I need you to come first thing in the morning and solve this. Which is annoying as hell, but what can you do? So fortunately, I have a pretty good landlord. Whenever there's a problem with your apartment, he is, I'll be brutally honest, I say brutally honest, I'll be honest, he's very on the ball. If you report a problem to him, he will react very quick, and he'll usually get it sorted out real fast. Which is really good, because that's what you want in a landlord. You want someone who's responsive. You want someone who is going to be looking after the property that you're renting from them. Someone who is pretty much committed to ensuring that the accommodation that they are renting out to you is of a good quality. Because Lord knows, there's tons of landlords out there in the world who, they don't give a shit. And you rent a property from them, if something goes wrong with it, they'll take ages to fix it. And that's not what you want. You want someone, like I say, who's going to be on the ball. And I'm very lucky in that respect that my landlord is quite on the ball. But yeah, like I say, with that smoke alarm, I didn't want to prise it open myself. Because, even though I do have, like knives in my kitchen drawer, which I suppose I could use if I needed to, or like a screwdriver. Technically, I do have a screwdriver, but it's just not the right kind. Basically, it's one of those screwdrivers that doesn't have like a flat edge. It has kind of like a four-edged point, if that makes sense. So that way, it's designed basically for unscrewing nails, things like that. Whereas the type of screwdriver that you need in order to prise open my smoke alarm is one with like a flat edge to it. So that way, you can just sort of slide it into the slot and then just lever it open. And the problem is I don't have that. At least, not one that's anywhere obvious in my apartment. So yeah, I had to wait for my landlord to get here, which he did, to his credit, he did. And fortunately, he seems to have solved the problem, and my freaking smoke alarm is no longer bleeping and annoying me, which is great. So, panic averted and all that, crisis averted, rather, I should say. But yeah, the joys of renting accommodation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure, those of you out there who perhaps are young, you'll probably go through all of this. You'll experience the joys of having to solve these kind of problems. It's just one of those things. It's like, of all the times it could have started bleeping at me, of course it started early in the morning when I was trying to fucking sleep, thus disturbing my sleep for ages. And like I say, I wasn't able to solve it during the night. So basically I just had to go back to bed with this thing bleeping every minute or so. And I don't know how I managed to get to sleep, but I did. Oh, God. I mean, the joys, ladies and gentlemen, of when things go wrong in the house and all that. But I have to say, my apartment, as a general rule, doesn't really ever have problems. And that's partly down, like I say, to the landlord, being really on the ball, keeping on top of things. He's a good guy. Right, so, now that I've got this new map, I should probably talk about this for a change. Hopefully this time I've got things right. I've adhered to people's instructions a bit better. Because that's the thing. Oh my god, there's another like I said, land device piece over there. And it's possibly unguarded. Oh shit. Is it a big one though? That's the only problem. Because if it's not, if it's a small one, I might be able to do a bit of inventory management. Twizzle things around. Get it in. No, it's a big one. Of course it is. Right, we'll have to sort of make a note of where it is. It's kind of looking... Hold on. If you're facing the standing stones, if they're over there, it's basically towards the west. That's where it is. Alright, well, we'll double back and get that in a second. But yeah, like I say, I just wanted to start this new map up. Because the thing is, if we're doing these terrain experiments, what was pretty much brought to my attention on previous episodes was that what I had generated was not going to be sufficient. It just wasn't going to work. So, I've redone it, and I think this time round I should have got it right. I mean, you guys all watched me do it. If I did anything wrong there, you guys can let me know in the comments. Do bear in mind, of course, that since I block record episodes, it might be, a little bit of a while before I react on things. But you guys all know that now. You know what I'm like. And the thing is, probably this upcoming year, I am probably going to be doing an absolute ton of block recording of videos. Because the thing is, with, I've talked in the past about, how work, IRL, has had to adapt with obviously lockdown and previously things like that. Obviously, the lockdown here in the UK is kind of easing up now. It's kind of returning to normal. So, in that respect, we're going to be moving probably back towards residential teaching, away from online and all that, which is good, it's going to be good. But, thing is, for this upcoming academic year, the interesting thing is I've been asked to basically take on some kind of more administrative responsibilities in our department. So when I say admin responsibilities, I mean in terms of things like module convening roles. So taking on some more responsibility for actually organising and delivering modules rather than just sort of doing bits of teaching and supervision on them, which is going to be great, because the thing is, it'll be good. It'll be something to add essentially to my career portfolio and all that. But I've been kind of roped into that sort of thing on a couple of courses. So it's going to be great, Essentially, I'm going to be doing things like giving student welcome briefs. I'm going to be sort of giving them rundowns on the modules that I've been asked to basically convene. I'm going to be responsible for sort of upholding the online resources, making sure they're all up to date, things like that. And then for another course that I've been roped in as what we call like a theme lead. So basically, I've been given an overarching topic on that course, which I have to put together reading lists for, put together lists of essay questions, things like that. It's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it, especially the theme lead one, like I say, because the theme that they've given me, the sort of topic for the subject area, is going to be really interesting. Basically, the course in question is like a maritime security, maritime strategy related one. It's more to do with like navies and naval affairs. And the sort of theme I've been given is all about maritime security threats, things like that. So it's going to be really interesting. It's quite a sort of broad overarching topic, and there's a lot of scope for where I could take it. So it's going to be great. I'm going to have a chance to sort of stamp my mark on a course. we're going to be fantastic. Right, I've got this next device piece, and after this it's just one more on this island. So if we can do that, that'll be great. That'll be another episode down. Right, one more. I just need to look out for the lisps, wherever they're at. Aha! There's one right over there. Is it possibly coming towards me, or is it going away? Looks like it's going away from me, actually. Oh no, it's coming towards me. Alright, well, we'll follow it. Now, in the meantime, of course, you know, people have been asking all kinds of questions in the comments on previous videos, asking me about games I'm going to play, things I'm going to do, stuff like that. There's all kinds of interesting ideas been coming up. People have been recommending that, you know, well, rather asking, you know, do I ever intend to perhaps do things like So You're Being Hunted streams or anything like that? That's an interesting question. Streaming is something which, you know, people have suggested to me on multiple occasions, and whilst it is something potentially I'd be interested in doing, the only problem is just time. Because, like I say, you know, between running this YouTube channel, between that, you know, work, my kind of professional life, as well as other stuff, other commitments that I have, like I say, it is just time, really, that's the big issue. So maybe I'll do it sometime in the future, maybe not, we'll see. Thing is, though, you know something that I've not had time to do for months now? My fucking propagandist channel, ladies and gentlemen. I have not uploaded a video on there in fucking ages, which is a shame, but like I say, it's just time that it comes down to, and I just haven't really had time to do anything over on there. But, you know, it's still there. Still plenty of videos on it if you're interested, mainly all to do with anime, in fact, pretty much all to do with anime. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can go check it out. But, yeah, other things that people have sort of asked me in the past. You know, people have mentioned things like The Light Keeps Us Safe, Signal from Tolva. You know, am I ever going to play those on the channel? Obviously, I have played The Light Keeps Us Safe before. I think I've talked about it before. But yeah, it's a game that, like I say, I definitely want to go back to at some point. And I definitely need to play the Signal from Tolva. I know some people have more mixed opinions of that one. They don't think it's kind of as good as Sir. But, you know, I'd still be interested to play it. It still has generally decent reviews on Steam. So, yeah. I'll definitely take a look at it at some point. Alright, let's put the alarm clock there. And in the meantime, you know, something I've also mentioned before, again, people are asking about it, is Gary's Mod. I'm ever going to get around to maybe doing some bonus content on that. And, you know, the honest answer is, yeah, I definitely want to do some of that at some point. Especially like Gary's Mod Sandbox. Maybe like a sort of like a build challenge type thing where I give myself, say, I don't know, like 30 minutes or whatever to basically build something. And that could be a good series, you know, if I was to do it, because I could sort of open it up to viewer suggestions. You know, you could leave me zany and wacky ideas for things to build in Gmod Sandbox in 30 minutes, and I could try it, put my Gary's Mod building skills to the test. So yeah, definitely something that I'd be interested in doing. And you know, I think that Gary's Mod idea, it's just one of those things which, again, it comes back to time, but I also think that maybe one day I just need to bite the bullet, and I just need to fucking do it. Pick something for me, you know, to build in Gary's Mod, and just then sit down, get my phone out, put the stopwatch on, 30 minutes, and then just build, and just see how it goes. And then, of course, after that, people can start leaving suggestions, maybe in the comments, for things that they'd like to see me build, or whatever. Because that'd be good, you know. You know, series where we can get a bit of viewer interaction. That's the kind of thing that would be quite awesome. You know, that's why So You're Being Hunted is a good one. Because every so often, you know, people can engage with conversations that I'm having, or they can leave suggested challenges or whatever, which people do still, you know, so often. Even if my So You're Being Hunted view count has declined over the years, I must say, it's still fun to play, isn't it? What's going on up there, though? Something drawing in the distance. I see. Right, let's take this final device piece for this island, deposit it out of the standing stones, and then we can wrap this episode up here. In fact, I'll probably wrap up as I'm bombing along, like so. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for So You're Being Hunted episode 412. Apologies again if I do sound like I'm a bit tired, but like I said earlier in the video, a little story about my smoke detector. That's why I'm a little bit tired if I sound that way. So, Facebook, Twitter links down below, along with the aforementioned propagandist channel for anyone interested. And if you enjoyed, don't forget, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you in episode 413, which I'll probably get recording straight away. Goodbye, everybody. His chassis? No. He's not a car, Ian. He's a robot. He's a robotic person. Yeah, get those wheels, get those gears going.
Your body is seriously incredible. I've never seen one like this.
I'm sure he feels the same thing about you.
Careful, Gemma. It tickles. This is amazing. Whoever put you together definitely knew what they were doing. I feel all tingly.
I'm sure you do, girl. I'm sure you do.
You definitely know what you're doing, too. If you keep this up, I just might...
Like what?
Oh!
God, Lord. I wasn't ready for that.